Hey, what's up guys, June here. In today's video, we are going over the week of November 8th, 2021. This week finished up on negative 5.63 handles. So, tough week. We'll go over the trades and see what took place. First trade was on the E-mini micro Russell. Alright, so the market's going up. I measured this blue swing. I was following it. It would have played somewhere down in this sort of press. However, I decided to tune into this level a bit more because it kind of initiated the expansion of this minor swing. And it was a good gap. We banged up, we pressed through it, gap, retested the backside, and something to break, something to fall into. If this was something to break, something to fall into down here, for some reason, I thought that was more, it didn't make sense. Like the scale seemed better if this was something to break, this was something to fall into. However, it did not work. Things to note about this trade, if we're following the blue swings, the blue swing would end up somewhere in this kind of general kill zone. Anyways, I took this left-sided entry, didn't work out. Is trade optimal? I'm not too sure, but that's the trade I took. I think overall it's pretty decent. Insofar as targets are concerned, it was based on the entire impulse here, so that's why I based it on. I didn't base it off of, let's say, the previous blue minor or blue major rather, and then projected it from here. Rather, I took the impulse of projecting this brown minor. So that's what I did. Didn't work out. All right, so for this trade, the stop could be seen as a little small. However, I played it at the time. I thought the stop was good, so that's why the stop here I said it's okay, given the way I was trying to play it. Right, so the market's going up and it expanded. It did these two. So this is a confirmed blue swing. It expanded. I'm like, okay, popped here, come up, found some sellers. They knocked it down. Now, do they achieve? No, they don't. So this is what I was tuning into, this press level. It expanded. I came here for a left side entry based somewhat on the green, but mostly the brown, the light brown swing. And my stop was behind here. While that's okay to play a stop behind this entire structure, if I'm pushing a market, I like to push the structure or double out the structure I'm pushing. So in this case, if I'm pushing the press, I want to do one of these. I want to take the red box, or roughly speaking, and have the stop somewhere here. However, I tried, it went, didn't go. There was a right side entry if we were waiting for the right side of this green swing. So for example, maybe I'm looking to have a bigger stop, but not willing to take that all because the risk to reward ratio wouldn't fit. So you could take a right side entry up here. So this was a valid entry, or valid right side entry rather. So if I slap on, let's say, a one line balance, whoops, I guess I have to click and drag. See, something like that would be nice. See, balances, stretches, stalls a bit, zoom, retest. Unfortunately, this didn't work out. All right, testing 1 2 3, 1 2 3. So yeah, while this one line balance was a good right side entry, I took the left side entry right here. Stop for this left side entry. Yeah, basing on this structure, on this kind of micro press, this blip in the process, not necessarily the best. However, I decided to take. Oh yeah, so this was the larger frame of it, or if I zoom out a bit, so right, confirm major. Look at this swap, retest. This was a nice entry. This is early in the morning, or pretty much what, maybe 2 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not playing that, but that was a nice trade. Boom. If I'm doing, let's say, the impulse from here, you could impulse it from there and take the profit somewhere there. That seems about reasonable. It did, however, keep on going. Fine. It did double out. Is this a little far into the swing? Maybe. Maybe. But regardless. So this was kind of a second times the charm entry I took on it. Basically, this is what I was talking about insofar as the doubling out the press. So if we're doubling out the press from a left-sided entry, that stop is currently still holding. So instead of giving this 2 chances to go, I only give it 1 chance to go. So the options are holding it deeper or waiting for the right side entry. In terms of left side, man, like right here, it looked pretty good. Left siding after this, then here and here and here, pretty rough stuff. Nevertheless, it did, however, kind of make its own or define its own level. Right here, look, buyers, buyers, they're buyers from here. Boom, go, 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 bam. This looked like a wash to me. In terms of second times the charm, I think this trade's brilliant. It worked out, or rather, it didn't work out, but everything was there. The only thing is my entry was a bit lower, mostly because I wanted to have a deeper entry, and the stop range was what? All the way to 25? Yeah. I wanted to play pretty much exactly this area because I was tuning into the one line balance as well. So didn't want to play it too high. And I also was drawing off of this swing or off of here. So it was a bit further. Anyways, eventually got in. It tried to go, came down. It held my order, my entry by a tick. Yeah, just by a tick. Tried to go again and just couldn't. So buyers just simply did not want to show up. That's fine, good enough. The market's pretty overextended, or rather, it's pretty high up without having much corrections. Now, do I know that ahead of time? No. So that's why I can't make that prediction. Right. So over here we have kind of just noticing, just seeing how the market's playing. So what is the market doing? This is the S&P. The markets are kind of doing this blue swing, kind of does a potential kill zone, comes down, zooms, enters, does a small lower low, comes back, retests the confirmed kill zone at this point, does its own little thing, zoom, retest, small lower low. This is where it kind of gets a little shaky, but nevertheless, same thing. Comes back, a little high, but nothing broken, zoom, retest, lower low. And what happened here? Came all the way back to these pivots over here, or to this confirmed kill zone. Does it boom? Not much of a super zoom, but you could take that. Like, that's pretty powerful enough. Zoom, entry kind of right here, maybe stop above that guy. Does it a second time. At this point, I'm looking for, well, I'm trying to develop and discover a new type of trade. It's more the trade for the expansion. So the zooms, I take it, entering for the expansion. More of a mean reverting. We're going to see a few more examples a bit further in the other charts, exactly how that plays out. However, this is a valid trade. I just decided not to take it for whatever, and maybe that placed me on tilt for the next few days, but I wasn't too bothered by it. I want to see a zoom. Instead, what the market do? Came nice down, boom, 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 boom. Smaller lower low right here. Instead of kind of going up from there, I decided to creep a little bit lower. At this point, my analysis, okay, fine. Last chance to turn back, and it doesn't. CIB. And I was looking for an entry. Oh, I think entry right there. I think I had an order right in this gap with a stop behind here or up here. Didn't quite fill it. Sucks, but nothing you can do about that. I believe I was pulling off of this guy too. Yeah, I was pulling off of this guy. That's actually a bit longer than that. Yeah, so that's exactly what I was trying to play, a nice little re-entry. Could you take this right here? It'd be based on this. Yeah, maybe. But for now, I didn't do it. So I can go on hypotheticals all I want, but there you go. Okay, so this is kind of an amalgamation. It's certainly okay. So this is the ITE idea. The ITE idea stands for initial trade for the expansion. Yeah, something like that. I can work on the name, but basically we have a repeated behavior. Like some blues. Oh, it stretched pretty high. First sign of a change in behavior. It didn't change it quite yet. You could say that. You could say the change of behavior is right here, but with within the context of it still going up, I haven't researched that just yet. So we'll see. Regardless, the change in behavior for me was right here. The question was, will these kill zones hold? No, they didn't. Return to this press, the CIB, where they threw it off, where they said no. It wasn't with much gusto. I'll give it that. It wasn't super strong. So perhaps that's something to pay attention to if I'm looking at this pivot. But the reason why I wasn't too worried about this being a smaller low, it already made the first sign of a change in behavior. So that's why I decided to take that entry where I took it. The stop is behind here. Stop could be maybe a tad higher, or perhaps the idea is to have the stop behind the absolute high, and we'll see. Came up, was very close to stopping me out, but my stop was at least somewhat good. Tried, and failed, and the market just shot up. So we know when you see the entry or the stop rather get zoomed after accepting it a few times, it kind of confirms your idea that okay, there was a chance where it could have went. If it just gets slammed right through, you're like, okay, never mind, it didn't work. The market thought about it. I was going forward just to try. So somewhere down here, because this is the initial trade for the expansion, just a little bit. However, with momentum, maybe something down here, but this was plenty RVR, plenty risk to award over here for maybe another entry pop. Maybe if this got zoomed, there was a backside entry on this guy, right? We swap this potential or this kill zone, and it becomes would it become potential for lower? Zooms. No, not really. But anyways, it becomes a swap area. Okay, so this is another example. So even over here, I don't think I took a picture of it. No, I didn't. Right, so the NQ is going down, it's following these green swings. It comes a bit lower. What happens? Nope, we're no longer following. These were following V's. It was the pattern of this green swing, approximately falling into a V. Once it really extended, it kind of dribbled and went down. Right here was the change of behavior. Entry right here. I had an entry order right over here, a bit lower with a stop behind the absolute. Reason being is risk to reward ratio wasn't good for the target, because the target I was going for was right here. This fell into something. So the initial trade for the expansion idea really lends itself to quick targets as well. Another trade or possible opportunity is taking this right side entry if there's no stop. So gap down, gap slide. boom, zoom, retest. Viable right side entry. For now, I didn't have one. So going forward, I could put ITE ideas, allow for right side entries. So that's a possible trade. Anyways, it decided to keep on going up. This AR set was based on, I think it was a larger time frame V, or was it expansion? Regardless, came to here. This could have been seen as a CIB or an ITE. So the repeated behavior is this measured move. So these blue swings coming into gaps. So look, gap, retest, boom, boom, gap, retest, goes up, gap, retest. And notice how it's pretty high in this swing cycle. So all those blues are happening. Boom, it starts to pick up steam. Boom, starts to pick up steam. So see how this, look, this press in between the middle, right? Zoom, press, gap, zoom, press, gap. Well, we're expecting it to pull back here and just go. Instead, it doesn't. It breaks off. And this is where the right side entry is a little sketchy. I don't know about that. Or rather, the entry. This it's really rough. Zooms, comes back. Now at this point, you can say this is where the CIB happened, but it's pretty hard to imagine that. So I'm not too bummed out. This would have went to target. In fact, this went much lower. But again, second swing back right over here, we could have a bump gift for maybe a long con entry, right? So this would be more of a short con type of trade where we have the initial expansion and then the long con comes back to the scene of the crime, like right here, boom, comes back down. So that's kind of the idea I'm going for behind this trade. We'll see. This week, it hurt me. It hurt my bottom line. So although this is 5.5 handles, just about, in terms of absolute value, it's higher than last week's gains, which was about like 6 handles. So, you know what? Overall, I wiped out last week's gains. That's the extent of the damage. Okay, so what happened here? So this is the NQ again. This is that action, right? So this stuff here is related to this right here. It's not related, it is it. I saw this as a breakout range because it was ranging. Strong impulse. What happened here? Boom, we popped the sellers. Boom, boom, boom here. Bam, zoom. Now, the question is, they took over right here, right? So the problem with this, while on the bar level here, it swapped. Did these guys achieve? No. Did these guys achieve? Yes, but did they get taken out? Not really. Here are my controlling buyers. So although my stop management target's right, I think my expectation was off on this one. So now this is where I want to introduce a new metric. So this would be kind of where they took off, right? Look, comes back right to it perfectly. Now, could I say there's an entry there? Or would I? Yeah, I guess so, if you're targeting that. Because let's see what happens afterwards. It eventually goes up to here, to the back side. So this would be the ITE idea, right? Which I never even thought about it until actually just going over this action right now. But it's piling down. They tried. There's not really a repeated behavior per se, but this is kind of like the first trade here. We catch people off guard. People are thinking it was short. People like me. And do we take out controlling buyers? Because here, these guys who ever bought here said no. We are no longer doing this anymore. Yeah, you could say these buyers here, but these buyers could have easily got snapped out. Could have went nope, easily. So this is why we don't really decide the ultimate low is the controlling buyers or controlling orders. We look where the swing was birthed, right? The new higher high was birthed from here, not really from here. So maybe that could have been a right side entry or a left side entry. I'm sure there's. Well, this is where you can draw whatever you want, really. Right? Aren't these similar? These are similar. Falls straight into it. Bam. Oh, yeah. Interesting. So this is not really an ITE idea in the sense of a repeating behavior, but this is, it's slamming down. It's no longer slamming down. Okay, so it is an ITE. That's the repeated behavior. The repeat behavior is just it's going down. So I would have to have a lot of balls to take it in my current state. However, as I get acclimated to this idea of mean reversion or mean reversion trading, or trading very deep in the counter direction or against the trend being all this, it will get easier and easier to process that information. Right, so I took another trade because, again, I have to get to negative 5.63 handles somehow. I saw this. Oh, okay, we're going repeated behavior. What happens? Zoom, no longer repeated behavior. That's where I put my entry. In terms of, well, did it take these guys out? I was more in tune with the repeated behavior based on the CIB, or rather the one line balance, because it tried. We saw buyers. They get poked. Did they get taken out? No. But there was a one line balance. I think for these ideas, we needed a bit more of a stop. So maybe a bit higher, or the stop behind here, and then makes the RVR no good. And at this point here, it confirms. So this is why I think something like here might be a better entry stop, right? Why? Because let me rephrase. Taking this entry is not bad. However, the stop placement needs to be considered. Overall, this can come test up here, and I could have got stopping out. In fact, because I had a little order slippage, it necessarily meant my stop was a bit higher due to how NinjaTrader works. Because it's not, well, you can set the price or the stops to be based on your entry, or just based on price, absolute price. It came and tapped my stop, and I didn't get filled, which was crazy. Anyways, let's get back to where I was going on. This is the CIB, or the confirmed CIB. Like, we are definitely no longer going down. Therefore, we can have a stop, something like this, right? You can have it here, or maybe behind this guy, up to you. But say this, and then from there, it might be better to trade strictly off of here, because right here, this is type 3 area. Not really. Okay, type 3 of this upflow, because it's expanding. Did it completely reverse? Did it completely go down? No. So I guess the idea would be here. OLB. If the confirmed swing is not taken out, zoomed, look to place stop above absolute high / low. So one of the two, right? So that's the idea behind that stop placement, because that's pretty rough. Okay, so what ended up happening? This was pretty hard to digest. This took a lot of emotional capital, but I kept going, held my stop strong. No sense of putting it lower. However, once I got here, I wasn't too sure to do with what to do with my stop. I looked at the blue swing. I'm like, okay, somewhere there. But going forward, I think it's much better to just either mechanically do 1-to-1 when it approaches beyond 3 to 4 to 5 to 1, and just mechanically use a 1-to-1 stop or a 1.5 to 1 stop. Meaning, if price is right here and I'm looking to gain this amount, I'm not going to risk any more than, say, that amount. So that's what that means. Could I put the stop right here if it starts extending? Yeah, but I'm not really paying attention all too much. So stop could have been here a bit, but I'm not too bummed out about the management because I wasn't too sure what to do. And I didn't want to introduce any new variables because that really is something you don't do. If you're in a trade, do the management, do the stop, do everything how you usually do, evaluate and evolve after the trade is done. So over here, when trade is beyond, let's say 4-to-1, 5-to-1, use 1-to-1 to 1.5. So meaning I can risk 1.5 amount. Risk management based on blips, or simply mechanical means. I'll fix the spelling in post. So meaning even if there's none of these, gap slide, whatever, just measure what the 1-to-1 is and just leave it there. All right, nice and simple. Over here, slightly premature of a trade. Seeing how this was, I counted this as a lower low. Like this is a press and process, sure, but I don't know. And over here was rough. The idea might be okay. So that's why I wanted to do it. How do I say wrong idea? Timing? Because I want to add some more of these to pay attention to. So maybe I could add, would it be idea. So trades with appropriate ideas. I don't know. I'll think about it next week. We'll see what I add. Regardless, confirm swing. This was the CIB from yesterday. So this is where they decided to stop going down. They took it up. We bounced, we zoomed, retest the backside, came back to it. Pretty nice. I was questioning, is this a wash? And then at this point here, I thought, okay, no, it's not a wash. This is a press in progress. I could have extended a bit more, frankly. It didn't. I took the trade. I managed it how I managed it, and that's it. Regardless, this is what happened afterwards. I saw it come up. I'm like, oh, there's something to break. Maybe something fall into a sort of quiet trend. It tried to go. Very similar to the ES trade I took. I was looking for something down here. Of course, there was the overall expectation of maybe extending this measured move. However, again, short con to here, bounce, long con to this target or to this blue measured move. So that's how I was going to play it. It didn't. Decide to go up from here. This slightly unnecessary, but I took the trade nevertheless. See, not even close below it. So that was a little rough. Such is life. So is that about it? Yeah, I think that wraps up this week's video. Definitely some tough trading. Hard pill to swallow some of these trades, but you know what? You gotta take the easy. You gotta take the smooth with the rough. That's it. And the rough with the smooth. That's what you gotta do. You gotta be like, you know what? The account, did I blow the account out? No, I didn't. This is 5 handles, 5.5 handles just about. That's 1, 2 trades maybe. I'm able to trade next week, so no stress. Next week is going to be a shorter week due to Thanksgiving, so I'm not going to be trading on the Friday. Anyways, that's it for this week. The comments are allow for right side entries, so that's on the new initial trade for the expansion idea. For the one line balance, if the previous confirmed swing is not taken out, so zoom through it, look to place this stop above the absolute high if I'm really down to take the trade. And finally, when a trade is beyond 4, 5 to 1, use 1 to 1 or 1.5 to 1 risk management based on blips or simply mechanical means. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed. Till next week, adios.